I'm sure if you've used the internet in any kind of capacity in the modern day that you're familiar with the troll emoji or the concept of trolling itself. But have you ever actually thought that the trolling emoji could come from an etymology breakdown of esoteric nature that you've never maybe even comprehended before or maybe even postulated on, which means thought about? So, if you didn't know, like I really had never really thought about until today and actually went and researched, yes, a troll is considered a type of giant or a closely related giant like humanoid in quote unquote Scandinavian folklore, mythology, of course, tied to Mithraism itself, and fantasy literature. Traditionally, they are depicted as immense, brutish beings inhabiting caves or mountains, characterized by their mixed strength, limited intelligence, and sometimes the ability to turn to stone in sunlight. I'm sure at this point you're saying, well, what does this have to do with an esoteric understanding of the trolling emoji? Now, if you're not familiar with content I've done in the past, or maybe the concept of the Nephilim looked like clowns, of course, the Nephilim being attributed to the offspring of fallen angels mating with human women to create what we consider to be giants in the modern day, you'd understand that the Nephilim, aesthetically speaking, according to Paul Stobbs and other biblical cosmologists or biblical scholars, as well as people that just study the old world in general, that the Nephilim were considered to be malevolent. Of course, the definition of malevolent describes having or showing an intense, vicious desire to cause harm, evil, or misfortune to others. Of course, once again, it implies a spiteful, malicious, or ill disposed nature. Which begs the question, of course, is or are certain people that are of a trolling nature or are bots on the internet using this troll like mentality or the aesthetic of the giant to essentially mess with people's minds or gaslight people in certain ways. And of course, I could take it one step further in the context of how a demon is literally what we call a computer program that runs in the background, handling tasks without direct user interaction. Of course, a lot of people theorize or postulate that these demons are the fallen spirits of the Nephilim, which of course inhabit the earth and need a vessel to inhabit to actually keep their works of evil or malevolency going in the modern day. Now, of course, couple that ideology or idea itself in the context of how the lesser keys of Solomon look like a motherboard in the modern day, and think about how maybe this quote unquote technology we're using is usually or being used to encapsulate the demon programming, which is really the disembodied spirit of the Nephilim themselves, or giants, or trolls, if you will, that are being used by these bots, or maybe even, using other people unknowingly to troll people. But I'll let you viewers decide that for yourselves, and comment down below if you've ever thought about this before or have anything to add to the conversation.